Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. The preseason is over, but the drama continues, especially in Dallas. I'm Spitface. Please welcome our host, the First Lady of Sports Talk, Cheryl Smith. And there's never any drama around the First Lady. No drama. She's drama free. She lives in a drama free zone. You get even close to her zone, and you come in with some drama, you just turn around and go the other way.
Good morning. Let's just put it this way. There's enough drama in Dallas that nobody else needs any drama, including the soap opera. I'm looking at my little teams that I like. And First Lady, you right. They just have no near level of drama that be going on in Dallas. For some reason, I believe that Jerry Jones is sabotaging his own team. I really do. Because I don't get that Dak Prescott all that loyal to the Dallas Cowboys. Now he got paid. It's just a way that I'm going to give you the money, but I want you to know that you on the plantation. And it's like, hey, dude, I don't know, First Lady. I don't know, I don't know, Razorback fans are looking and go, didn't he go to our school? All right. This week on Shout Out, we have performances from Ilk Culture plus JES, where they find their shining star or get the cold feel of the mute button. First Lady, we're ready. What you saying? Each week, we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world, not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle. Let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are flapping their little wings happily after announcing their engagement. Love is in the air. It's so nice. Is this a big old tight end's dream? Being chosen by a beautiful superstar who happens to make billions of dollars to hold her little hand in matrimony? Is this a tale of Beauty and the Beast? Is there hope for who we call the big ugly to win big in the game of romance? It's been reported that Travis has slimmed down and he's a mean, lean football machine. Will his wedding gift to the bride be a Super Bowl ring? George Foreman, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, you both rest in peace. Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you say? A tale of Beauty and the Beast? See, Kelce is not a bad-looking guy, so I definitely wouldn't call him a beast. I wouldn't call Travis Kelce a beast. I mean, yeah, he's big, but he's not a beast. Taylor Swift is a pretty girl, okay, whatever. But anyway, it's interesting because many people really didn't think this romance was going to last long. Really didn't think it was going to last long. And you want to know why they didn't think it was going to last long? Because of Taylor Swift's prior relationship. This woman, First Lady of Sports Talk is going to go there. Let me go there. I want to take some time to go over this woman's relationship. She dated Joe Jonas from the Jonas Brothers, Taylor Lautner, who's a Twilight star, singer John Mayer, actor Jake Gyllenhaal, one of the Kennedys' Ethel Kennedy's grandson, Connor Kennedy, One Direction group leader Harry Styles, Galvin Harris, who's a British DJ, actor
actor Tom Hiddleston, and all of those were 1 year or less relationship. 1 year or less. Now, she did have a very, very long-term relationship for 6 years with soccer star Joe Alwyn, and many people were very stunned that they broke up. And then in 2023, she had a brief relationship. It was a summer relationship with singer Maddie Healy, and she met Mr. Travis Kelce in September of 2023. Now, he chose her because he was the one who sought after her. So, so that's why I say when she didn't choose him, he chose her. And it's interesting that her longest relationships were with athletes. You know, she typically was dating industry people like actors and singers, and her longest relationships were with athletes. So maybe it was meant for she and Travis to be together. And this relationship, I mean, what can you say? The relationship has been extremely, extremely positive for the NFL. Last season, it's been the highest regular season in season for female viewership in over 20 years. There's been a significant increase in teenage girls and women from the age group of 18-49 watching the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs viewership with women has increased. The NFL reported that the Super Bowl, was it Super Bowl 58? That was last Super Bowl, right? 58 was the most watched broadcast since 1969 because of Taylor Swift's presence at the Super Bowl. There was 123.7 million average viewers. So, it's easy to say that the NFL is glad Taylor and Travis are engaged. I mean, because, you hear average, avid sports people, they really got sick, especially pundits, they really got sick and tired of the NFL. Every time the Chiefs were on TV, they would always zoom in on Taylor. Well, there's a reason why they did that, so they can show her at the game. And so the NFL is all about making money, and they knew she was a cash cow. And she got millions and millions of followers. So that's the reason why they did that. And trust me, it definitely paid off with them. So, kudos to them. Now, as far as Travis, he did not have a great season last year. His stats were down in a lot of areas. So, I mean, I'm going to correlate the reason why he had bad numbers last year because he was chasing Taylor around the world on her tour. Now, he attended several concerts during the summertime. So did he get ready in the summertime like most of the athletes do? No. He did attend one concert during the regular season. So, that's a little bit wearing, you traveling all around the world. I know you got private jets and everything, but still, that, he was not paying attention to his conditioning and to being focused on football because he had to get Taylor. So now that they are engaged, I expect him to have a great season this year. She's not on tour, and he doesn't have to woo her anymore. So, I really think that Travis is going to have a great season. Because let's face it, Travis is going to be 36 years old in October. So this may be his last season with the Kansas City Chiefs. I got to look at his contract. I'm not sure what his contract. I know he did get it extended at one point, but I'm not sure if he's on the final year of his contract. But at 36 years old in October, I don't think he's going to be playing too much more. Now that he's engaged, I mean, that's telling signs there, too. So, I mean, it's positive. They're a cute couple. Everybody is just all involved with their relationship. And the good thing about it, it survived. It survived all of this. So hopefully they'll have a successful love story. All right, Spitface. How you feel about Taylor and Travis?
I'm glad they happy. I am so glad that they happy. So they can get married and suffer like the rest of them are married for years. No, that I hope they have a great marriage and a lot of joy. And I put it like this: I'm marrying Taylor Swift. Ooh, Taylor, I got $10 million left on that contract. Here's my contribution, babe. A little money. Like can we put this in the cookie jar? But that Kelsey is the body and time. Okay, 36, brother. Do what you want to do. The condition your body is in, even with top conditioning today. And it is not the same. And I'm like, ride out on top. Ride out on top while stats are still good, everything is happy, and your health is fine. Now, and given that I don't care how much money is left on that contract, you are marrying Taylor Swift. She got you. She got your back. I don't think you're going to have to worry about making that car payment. She got you, bro. And, it's interesting you pointed out that her longest relationships have been with athletes, for whatever length that might have been. And to me, that just tells me that at the heart, she's just an American girl. That high school sweetheart. The Hollywood types and entertainment types, they got what they got. But they ain't like that guy on the football team that you all squeamied on. And so I go, dreams get fulfilled. And I will call this a tale of Beauty and the Beast, because he a big person. The average people, he a big ass beast. No, and I'm not referencing by his looks. Just that he a big ass tight end. There's big guys, and coming down the field, they don't look all sweet. They look like, damn, he gonna run me over. So it's a compliment. But my man went after his desire, and in the game of romance, carry out. But you will not be giving her a new Super Bowl ring. Might give her one of the ones you already got, but there will be no new Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs will have a great season. They are not going to the Super Bowl this year. No, they're not. They are not going, and they're going to go out kicking and screaming, but they're not going. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
All right, so I'm going to the Super Bowl. Well, I did look up. Travis' contract does end this year, 2025. So this is the last season. So I haven't heard any negotiation. He hasn't even asked for any renegotiations or anything. So it looks like this will be the swan song. So we'll see. He making plans for the future. We already know Taylor is a billionaire. So you don't have to worry about money, but I guarantee you, I hope Taylor, girl, you better make sure he signed that prenup, because you are worth more than Travis Kelce, all right? You got to be financially smart. That's all I'm saying. All right, Spitface, over to you.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my tears and putting suckers to bed, making the tears rain down like a monsoon, listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering, over the competition, I'm towering. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that'll all get sliced and diced. Competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out, huh? Mama said knock you out, huh? We are talking about the knockout punch to the career of Shiloh Sanders after throwing a punch in a preseason game. Shiloh Sanders, the son of Hall of Fame cornerback and Colorado head coach Deion Sanders, was waived by the Buccaneers on Sunday. Shiloh went undrafted out of Colorado before spending the offseason with the Buccaneers, where he did not make the final 53-man roster. Shiloh was notably waived after getting ejected for punching Bills tight end Zach Davison, which head coach Todd Bowles called inexcusable after the game. Leroy Satchel Paige, Walter Buck Leonard, and James Cool Papa Bell are asking what you saying. Shiloh. You know, Shiloh, not that anyone has to tell you. I know that if there were probably, I can't say I know, but I put money that the moment it happened, you immediately regret it. I know you wanted to turn that fist around and hit you in the face before it happened, but it just didn't go that way. It got extended out. And but I feel that second it you were like, oh no, I did not want to do that. And but that is not how it rolled. How it rolled is that you did it, you punched them, and with all the regret, it's right there. Now, the other aspect to look at is that the question of you being NFL talent at the level where either on the practice squad or on the regular squad, a team feels you're NFL ready, or with a little work, you'll be there. And that is just how it is. So, your college play, while notable, just wasn't at that level where, during their automatic, like you got drafted in the first 3-4 rounds, you were not at that level. But that doesn't mean that you aren't at NFL level. That the two do not necessarily exclude each other. So you may be NFL level, and it's does the team want to invest in you? Because they go, hey, well, here's some areas of improvement that once made, oh, you clear, you in. Do they want to invest in that? And apparently, you may be back on the Buccaneers. They liked a lot of what they saw. So you got that going for you. And it's been reported that you have been totally appropriate. You've been totally as far as appropriate as you can be. And that everyone, the folks in the building, they're like, they can see it. So we can't predict how to turn out. I wouldn't be surprised if Shiloh is on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. First Lady, what you saying?
Well, I to be honest with you, I'm not really sure why people were so surprised that Shiloh Sanders was waived. First of all, he went undrafted in this year's draft. So let's not get it twisted. He was never considered a top college player at the safety position. And let's face it, Todd Bowles didn't like the fact that he threw that punch. And to me, when you're an undrafted player and you're on the borderline of making a football team, you have to refrain from those type of antics, because those types of antics will get you kicked off the team if you are being considered being on the team. And, you know, when you're on the cusp, like I said, you need to tread lightly. You need to make sure you do all the right things. And it was just such a bonehead move by him. And, it's unclear if he had not thrown the punch, would he have still made the team. But to me, during that punch definitely put a nail in his coffin. Now, I'm going to say this, like you said, there was talks about him maybe being brought back, because they said something about they only lost $1,000 or something with him being taken off. I don't know. It was just something very low number. But I don't know if he's going to make it back on the actual 53-man squad. But he can definitely be on the practice squad. Let me tell you something. If you are a rookie player and you don't make it on a 53 squad to get a decent contract, that minimum contract, being on the practice squad is not that bad, because I just look, you get paid $13,000 a week on the practice squad when you have 2 years left. And if you're more advanced, you've been in the league longer, you get 17 and above, $17,000 a week. So, I figure that's $234,000 for the season. If it's 18 weeks and you on the practice squad. So let's face it, because to be honest with you, I was looking up at salaries. The other leagues, like the Canadian, a lot of players that don't make it in the NFL, they go to the Canadian Football League. They got the XFL. They got those type of leagues, but they don't even make the money that the practice squad players make. Yes, they do not make that $13,000 per week. I was looking at the average salary for Canadian football was $100,000 something for a contract. That's overall contract. And the XFL, that's a rock league. They only make like $64,000 for the season. So, Shiloh could be on the practice squad, and there's always hope. You don't want to root for people to get injured, but you know how it is in the NFL. A player gets injured just about every second. And that's why they keep the practice squad. And the practice squad, they usually pull players off the practice squad to join the 53-man roster. So I'm not feeling sorry for Shiloh, but, he kind of caused his own problems, because, like I said, if he was at the point of them making the decision of him being on that 53-man team, his antics really got him off the squad. So, but they can pull him back onto the practice squad. Nothing wrong with the practice squad. At least you in the NFL and you're practicing, you're learning the plays. You're pretty much doing everything that the regular players are doing. You're just not getting that contract, and you don't have the benefits of a contract. But man, I don't mind $13,000 a week. and look at this, you're $13,000 a week, and you're only doing practice. With Allen Iverson said, "You're talking about practice. We're talking about practice."
Well, yeah. First Lady, just to wrap it up, I will say that I wish Shiloh well, and as his dad said, he taught his kids that there's more to life than football. And so, hey, whatever way it goes, because the fickle finger of fate is exactly good, will bestow upon everyone. As they say, every player is one injury away from their career being over. And we're not talking about like tragic injuries. There are injuries that for most of us regular folk would end up being an everyday annoyance. Okay, it'd just be an annoyance. Okay, all right, I got this part of my foot, and I'm just going to have to live with that. As a professional athlete of any sport, that might be, no, you can't play, So, be thankful for your blessings. First Lady, you have the last word. Please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, we have a performance from Hip Culture on Shout Out Part 1.
The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Hip Culture.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining stars. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. On the first part of Shout Out, we are featuring music from Hip Culture out of Stokesville, Canada, and their hit album, King of Hearts. All right, DJ, let's hear the title track from King of Hearts.
I met the Queen of Hearts the other day. She said the Mad Hatter had lost his way, and the White Rabbit smiled and said he's here to stay. Where was Alice on that day? My world is turning round and round. I'm searching for a way back down. I'm going to call on the King of Hearts to save me. Purple line to keep me company. I saw Hansel and Gretel just yesterday. They shut the door and said I couldn't stay. They were laughing with the Wicked Witch. I didn't because she's such a bitch. My world is turning round and round. I'm searching for a way back down. I'm going to call on the King of Hearts to save me. Purple line to keep me company. The lesson here is simple and true. Good can win when you see it through. Hold on to faith when hope feels gone. And love will guide you all along. King of Hearts fought brave and strong, but the dragon's fire was fierce and long. The King of Hearts fell trying to save us all. There was no one left but the purple lion. He rose with a mighty roar, and peace returned like never before. My world is steady, calm and clear. The purple line will always be near. Though the King of Hearts has left
who's dropped in on his bearskin rug. It's DizzieMac. We are graced with his presence. All right, DizzieMac, are you shouting that song out, or are you going to hit the mute?
I'm a give it a shout out. It was a nice mellow groove, and I was kind of in that groove. So yeah, I'm a shout it out.
All right, Spitface, you hit the mute, or you shouting it out?
I'm shouting out hip culture. The young lady really has a nice voice. I could see her. I could envision her singing a variety of songs where she'd probably be pretty darn good. So I like. There was a line she had that tickled me. Anyone who knows the story of Alice in Wonderland, but she made a comment about the Wicked Witch, and she didn't mind because she is a bitch. And I said, and it was just so subtle the way she said it, just flowed, and you hear that, and you go, oh, that it just tickled me, So I'm giving her a shout out for her subtleness.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to shout it out too. Like you said, it's a soft melody song. The melody was great. I like the song. I'm definitely going to shout it out. And, unfortunately, though, we didn't get another song from them. So on part 2 of the show, we'll be featuring a performance by JES. Is that the sound of our favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It?
All right. Time for Flip It. The preseason is over, and we wonder which teams are dark horses to win the Super Bowl and who has the better chance between the Steelers and the Buccaneers. Defend. The Steelers are a dark horse to win the AFC North with a strong defense and a quarterback playing out his mind. They have a better chance than the Bucs. First Lady DizzieMac, I'm looking at the situation, and that bad man has one act for redemption. The past couple of seasons, after he left the Cheeseheads, things have not gone, smoothly. And perhaps the toughest division in football, the AFC North, with the Ravens who will beat you up, the Steelers who will beat you up, the Bengals who they'll just score all over you, And every now and then, because the Clevelands will sneak up on somebody, the Browns will sneak up on somebody, but some kind of way they end up with a winning record, and I believe that division is going to be super competitive. The Bengals going to be right there in the mix, and it's going to come down. It could be it's going to be the Ravens are not going to just ride roughshod over the AFC North. It ain't working out that way, not this season. And Aaron Rodgers is going to play like a man on fire. Watch out. Aaron Rodgers this is do or die time, how he going to go out. So, they will now the Bucks, my man Baker Mayfield. I'm a Baker Mayfield fan because to me he's one of the people who he was a step away from the trash heap and rebounded. So I like a rebound story, So but Baker plays in the NFC South. And the NFC South is mass confused. Mass confused. So I expect out of that mass confusion that the Bucs with Todd Boyles, they have more organization and togetherness for their team than the rest of that division. Even Atlanta, who's getting back, no. So they'll rule over them. But once they get in the playoffs, they still got work to do. DizzieMac, the Steelers have a stronger chance to win the Super Bowl than those Bucs as a dark horse.
Well, Spitface, First Lady, it's all about the emotion. And Mike Tomlin has the emotion. They will hit you on the defense. I think their ability to get the turnovers will push them over the edge, and their ability to use that fiery instinct of Mike Tomlin, T.J. Watt, Hayward, I think they will manage to help put Aaron Rodgers in a good position when they turn the ball over and put him in a position and give him the option of being able to go deep. He still has his arm. So putting him in a position to play fake, to run, and go deep over the defense will key them. Now, Todd Bowles, I don't have nothing good to say about Todd Bowles. He should be named Uncle Tom Bowles. He has no guts, so that will produce no glory down there in Tampa Bay. I know I have a brother-in-law that's a Tampa Bay fan. Matter of fact, I rode over his house one day to see the game and Tampa Bay was playing. He almost blew me up on the bearskin rug with a cannon shot. So, Tampa Bay does not have the fire. For all the fire Baker Mayfield has, he doesn't have it on defense. Their defense will be just like Colonel Sanders, one piece short of a bucket. He's going to be one piece short, and that piece was a rookie that he cut like a bad habit. But no, Pittsburgh will definitely do better than Tampa Bay. It's the turnover. It's the fire.
All right, the fire. First Lady defend. The Steelers have a stronger chance to win the Super Bowl as a dark horse than them Buccaneers.
Well, I share the same sentiments as DizzieMac because, the Steelers, we all know, under Mike Tomlin, they've consistently finished with a non-losing record. So coaching matters in the NFL, and Mike Tomlin is a great coach. And with his strategy and his motivation, he can pull the Steelers to having a stronger chance to win a Super Bowl. And defense wins. Defense wins. I mean, we know that because look the way last Super Bowl, how the Philadelphia Eagles just ran over the Kansas City Chiefs, and that they had a lack of defense. So the Chiefs' defense was horrible in that Super Bowl game. But when we talk about the Steelers' strongest unit, best unit is their defensive unit. And they've already signed T.J. Watt to a multi-contract. They were ranked 8th in the league last year regarding points allowed per game. So, I mean, defense wins, and the Steelers will always be in games because of their defense. Now, the Buccaneers, they do have Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, for the last couple of years, have played well, but he hasn't always been consistent as a quarterback. So, I mean, the fact that he had 2 great seasons, I look for him to have a bad season this year, and there are many reasons why, because right now, their wide receiver core is injured. Chris Godwin and Jalen McMillan is not. There have been absences because of injury. So in addition, they have issues with their special teams. They have an issue with they have a rookie playing on their defensive back. So their defense is not that great, even though Todd Bowles is a defensive player, but I'm not going to count on the Buccaneers defense to win games. And, they're going to have to rely on Baker Mayfield. And, like I said, is Baker Mayfield going to have a great season this year after having 2 very good great seasons? Like you said, he was thrown to the wolves, and he came back. But I have a feeling Baker Mayfield is not going to have a great season this year. And in order for the Buccaneers to win and be a strong contender for a Super Bowl, they have to rely on the throwing arm of Baker Mayfield, and I just don't see that. Overall, we already know that the Steelers may be challenged offensively, but that defense is their main reason that they are going to be a stronger contender for a Super Bowl than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right, First Lady. Now, wow, okay. Now, we got to flip the script. And Baker Mayfield and Tom Bowles have got their mojo going straight to the Super Bowl. Given they're in the NFC South, they have a stronger chance of being that dark horse than the Steelers. And, First Lady, I'm looking at the Steelers and I'm looking at the Bucks, and the thing that just keeps standing out is that it's the divisions they play in, and the divisions they play in are radically different. And late in the season, after you done played those bruising games, I mean, you may be toughened up. But a lot of times you got the nicks and bruises and things to overcome, while another team is able to, just keep they're able to keep rolling. That's the thing. They're able to keep rolling and keep going. And Baker Mayfield, everybody has underestimated Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield don't get no love. It's always questioned. Now, that's probably a good thing for him, because he goes, I don't care. It gives, maybe that gives him a little extra inspiration. So he can play gunslinger. We know that. He can do that. And he's the kind of guy that the team will rally behind, because they see him playing his butt off, but, with no, hey guys, you'll need to get your act together. Hey, we all together. So that alone. Now, the other side, I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers. Okay. I think the bad man is going to come out bad. I just don't think he's going to get to the end of the season. Old man time catch up with you in different ways. And, injuries that took you a week to recover from take you a month. And he will not be able to defeat Father Time. So I don't have it that Aaron Rodgers will last the season. But I do have it that while he's in, he's going to be that bad man, and it'll be looking good for the Steelers. And once again, they will make the playoffs, but Aaron Rodgers won't be there. All right. DizzieMac, the Finn, the Buccaneers have a stronger chance of being that dark horse that makes it and wins the Super Bowl?
Man, Spitface, First Lady Spitface, you can bet Tampa Bay will go on the road sometime this year. And I predict we'll win 2 games that come down to the wire and help their chances to get in there and be that dark horse. Mike Evans, what can you say? 1,000-yard receiver. I know he's been put in the work this year, and he's going to be back to that normal standard. Baker Mayfield. Well, I want to make this point. Aaron Rodgers, Baker Mayfield. See, Aaron Rodgers done went over there and they done fed him them gym shoes and them horseshoe sandwiches, and he's eating good. He's used to eating them cheese curds up in Green Bay. But them cheese curds taste good with them gym shoe sandwiches, them horseshoe sandwiches, all the Midwest sandwiches, them put those pierogies and them them Polish dishes. He's eating good. Baker Mayfield starving. He's starving because you know why? Baker Mayfield lives in that big old stadium by himself. He ain't eating nothing. He chewing on popcorn and he chewing on half of pretzels and he gonna be hungry. But they'll pull out 2 games that will help them. Pittsburgh will lose 2 games, maybe 3, because like you said, Spitface, Aaron Rodgers is gonna be looking bad. He's gonna be looking overweight. He's gonna be throwing late. He's gonna be throwing late, thinking that hey, he's the gunslinger. But hey, we all know sometimes that gunslinger gets defeated, and he'll lose at least 3 games because of the decisions he make or injured. So yeah, Tampa Bay. I still go by my brother-in-law's house. We'll shoot that cannon together from the bearskin rug.
All right, cannon fire. First Lady, the Buccaneers have a stronger chance of being the dark horse that wins the Super Bowl versus the Steelers.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's face it. I mean, Tampa Bay is in an easier division than the Pittsburgh Steelers because the AFC, we know that's a piece of a division. They got the Ravens. They got the Bengals. I mean, we know they don't got to worry about the Cleveland Browns. But still, the Cleveland Browns is not an easy out for the Steelers either. So, those are rivalry games. So, they played them twice. So that's 2 times that they can lose. So let's just say that Tampa Bay has an easier division, and they've won the division 4 consecutive seasons. 4 consecutive seasons. So when you win a division 4 consecutive seasons, you're put in the ability that you don't have to play in a wild card game. So by just being in winning the division, that's a better chance for them to win a Super Bowl. They have less games to play in the playoffs, okay? And I don't see anything different this year for them not to win that division. Yes, Baker Mayfield, he is an underrated player when it comes to people believing in Baker Mayfield. They've always had strong offensive talent. They still have Pro Bowler Mike Evans, and even though the other 2 are kind of hurt, but they'll come back in the season. And Jalen McMillan, he's a emerging star as a receiver. And then you have they got a good running back in Bucky Irving, and they just have a much more favorable path to the playoffs. Now, when we look at the Steelers, what are we talking about? We're talking about Aaron, old man Rodgers, old River and Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is too old now. So is he going to have a comeback year? I don't know. We've been waiting for him to have a comeback year. Last year, he didn't do well. And as we had already stated that is a brutal division for any team to play in. Even though Mike Tomlin they're not going to have a winning record. I think this might be the first time that Mike Tomlin may have a losing record in his career. Because the Bengals have gotten much better. Joe Burrows is healthy. And, we already know about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. So I just think it's such a brutal division. I just don't see why the Steelers would have a better chance at the Super Bowl than the Buccaneers. And the sad part about it for Aaron Rodgers, that one of the weak parts of the Steelers' offense is their offensive line. So that's going to be a major, major problem. And on top of that, the Steelers have a very, very tough schedule. See, when you have a winning record, it makes it difficult because that means you're going to have a tough schedule. And their schedule is definitely tough. And they have the division games are going to be the last 8 games of the season. That's going to be really, really tough. And that's why I think this is going to be a year that Mike Tomlin, for the first time in his life, will have a losing record. So it is definitely, when I look at this, I have to say the Buccaneers, even though they got some issues too, but no, they're in a better position to win a Super Bowl than the Pittsburgh Steelers, most definitely.
All right. First Lady, you had the last word on that. Over to you for more flipping.
Sam Darnold went to the Seahawks, and Geno Smith went to the Raiders. Who will have the better season and the team have a better record? All right, Spitface and DizzieMac, let's defend this. Sam, I am, green eggs and ham, Darnold will have a better season and team record than the Raiders. DizzieMac, defend.
Oh, you know, Geno Smith throwing for about 4,500 yards this year. He's going to do his thing, spinning it. Ashton Genty, he's going to be running for the tune of 1,400 yards. And, Geno can do it. He's a pro in his league. He can throw it. He can spin it. Sam Darnold was last seen covering his ears, crouching down, looking lost in the hail of explosions that was going around his Minnesota team that he tried to lead to nowhere. He tried to lead them to nowhere. He couldn't lead them out of a paper bag last year in them playoffs. So no. I think Geno Smith under Pete Carroll will be let loose, and he will have about 45.
DizzieMac, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you're supposed to be defending Sam Darnold's going to have a better season than Geno Smith.
Well, it's the redemption tour. It's the redemption tour for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has been let loose out of that paper bag that he was in Minnesota, and he will go up to Seattle and have them Seahawks fly. He'll be able to throw. He'll be able to go. He'll be able to mow down opposing secondaries. And in Oakland, it's going to be tough sledding that first year. Ashton Genty is going to be bottled up, so they're going to be trying to depend on Geno. And, Geno is just going to be throwing to the wrong colored jersey. Unfortunately, that will get him yanked. And then we'll see how quick Kenny Pickett has recovered from that hamstring, because he'll be yanked out of there like the Sandman do him as Showtime at the Apollo. But, yeah, Sam Darnold, he's a tough competitor. He's been in the league. He's had his ups and downs, but now he's going to soar like a Seahawk. And he's going to make sure that, hey, he'll have at least 30 touchdown passes and only 5 interceptions. And he'll throw for 4,500 yards up there in the Northwest. And he'll have them fans talking about beast mode again. And they're going to be tough. He's got receivers. He's got a defense. And, hey, he's going to be putting points up on the board like it's a video game. Unfortunately, you'll see Geno Smith walking around the casinos, you know, looking to have luck on the penny slots. and it's going to be a tough year for them Raiders, them wacky Raiders, as somebody close to me always says, them wacky Raiders, that wacky Geno.
All right. The Sam Darnold is going to have a better season and the team record than the Raiders.
First Lady, Sam Darnold is weird. He's a weird guy. He ain't the most lovable of people, but somehow last year, I don't know, maybe he got touched by an angel. But the Viking players loved him from Sam Darnold, and in most measures, he came through for them. Now, in the playoffs, it went the way it went. But you could see that they had a future with Sam Darnold, even though they chose to go with the guy they drafted. They chose to go with the future. Sam Darnold has some good playing years left in him where he can be the starter for a team. And he's the starter for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Seattle, over the last few seasons, record has been pretty much better than the Raiders. So the Raiders are going to be a much improved team, but the Seattle Seahawks are going to be a much improved team as well. And given all things equal, Sam has a little more to work with because the team is a little more steady and balanced. And basically, the team be getting off and really being competitive at the beginning of the season, and then they just melt at the end of the season. So Sam will bring that stability they need to get over that hump. The Raiders, as I said, they will be greatly improved, and part of that will be because of Geno, because a familiar coach, they'll have a little stability. It's just that right now they still getting their pieces together and on the right track. Now next year, and not a maybe next year, next season when everybody has some seasoning, Raiders fans will be all right. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
Okay, all right. Now let's put it this way: Sam Darnold, like you said, he's on a redemption tour. He is going to continue to do well. You know, you have to just feel good about Sam Darnold and give him some kudos because the Jets didn't believe in him. He wasted years there. Then he went to the Carolina Panthers, and they just tossed him aside like a piece of old tire or something. I mean, they just really tossed him aside. And Minnesota really gave him his footing. And the thing about it, he got that position because of the fact that J.J. McCarthy got injured. So Sam Darnold was able to win that quarterback position, and look what he did with it. He finally became the quarterback that everybody thought he would be out of college. So why would we think that he's going to change? I think he has finally found what works for him. And I think the fact that the Seattle Seahawks wanted him, I mean, they gave him a good contract, and it's a good situation for him. I mean, the Seahawks, they got a good running game. I mean, he's going to have protection. I mean, Geno Smith had a lot of protection last year, and that's why Geno Smith had a great year. And they improved on that offensive line. So, I mean, I expect Sam Darnold to have just as great as a season as he did last year. And the thing is, Sam Darnold wants it. You know, he tasted success. And when you're confident, when you know you are successful and you're very confident, that means that you're going to continue to improve. So him having that magnificent year with the Vikings, it has really boded well for Sam Darnold. It increased his confidence because this man was probably one step out of the darn NFL, and he's really come back. Now, Geno had a great year with the Seahawks. So that's why we were shocked that he got traded and they wanted Sam Darnold. But obviously they saw something in Geno that wasn't setting right. But we all know that Geno's going to be with his former coach. And Pete Carroll, love him some Geno. However, we're talking about the Raiders. When is the Las Vegas Raiders ever going to be able to have a successful season? Something always goes wrong with the Raiders. I know you're a Raiders fan, DizzieMac, but we got to talk about those Raiders. They just, for some reason, cannot do things the right way. And it's just a shame. I mean, it's such a great organization as far as years being in the NFL, but right now the Raiders have always been on a decline. And I just see Seahawks having a better chance with Sam Darnold as their quarterback than I do the Raiders with Geno Smith as their quarterback. Because, you know, Geno Smith could be inconsistent a lot. And even though he had a great season last year, I don't see him having a superb season this year. Because one thing Pete Carroll loves to do, Pete Carroll loves to run the ball. So we already know that Geno is not going to have situations where he could pass the ball a lot. And that's what he needs to do. So I don't see him having a great season, and I don't see the Raiders having a great season with Geno as their quarterback. So I really think it's going to be Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks. All right. This is Flip It. So we're going to flip the situation here. Geno is matched with a coach who appreciates him, and Ashton Gentry. Sam I Am will prove he was a one-hit wonder. All right, Spitface, defend.
Geno will have the Seahawks fans longing for him to return after Sam proves to be insufficient. And, Sam Darnold, I'm thinking about Sam Darnold. Okay. And what he did and what he contributed to the Minnesota Vikings. And it was short of fantastic. I mean, really. The Vikings have had good teams for many years. They drop off every now and then, but then they perk back up and become competitive again. They're like Green Bay. They're never really like declining or things, go south, so to speak. They put some stuff in, and a couple of years later they bounce back and they're competitive. And that's pretty much their pattern. And they have built a competitive team that's been competitive for the last few years, making the playoffs. So when JJ went down and Sam was able to step in, the question was, is it more the system or the player? And usually it's a combination of both. Because you can have a great player in a system that doesn't utilize the talents correctly, and it ends up not working. And that player moves on and become a better player because the system adapted, and maybe the team brought in a quarterback that for the type of system they wanted to run. So that happens. Now, Sam makes me think of a certain quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, who stepped in and had a magical season. And the next thing you know, they win in the Super Bowl. And that quarterback could not repeat that success the following year. And when that quarterback left and got paid a bunch of money to play for a different team, it just wasn't there. They were what we would call a one-hit wonder. And Sam, I'm glad you got your money, but one-hit wonder. Now, Geno has been roughed around. Like I said he was on about to be tossed on the trash heap of the NFL history, and redemption occurred. And sometimes, especially with a rebuilding team, if the coach has a relationship with the quarterback where they're stable, where, hey, Geno, you know how I want to play this. You've been with me. You see how I coach. You see what I'm trying to put in. And Geno has matured at a level of, Coach, I got you. This how you want to run it. I'm going to execute that. Okay. And anything else? Okay. Hey, I know, but I'm going to run your plan to perfection. And, those Seahawk fans, they'll be like, man, we wish we had Geno back, because they will be seeing that the Las Vegas Raiders, them guys with that patch on their eye, will be moving up the win column. That's right. Heading toward a winning season, and maybe, just maybe, sneaking above those Denver Broncos. That's right. The Raiders, better record than the Broncos with Geno Vanelli. Yeah. All right, First Lady. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Gina.
All right. Okay. DizzieMac, the Fed. Geno Smith will have a better season.
Girl, I told you to move that chair. I told you I got my patch on. I got my patch on. You know it's dark in here. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I had my patch on my eye. And, the Raiders got the best thing they could get. Hold on, let me take my patch off so I can see what I'm doing. Geno Smith will spin that thing. He'll bring that thing. He'll bring them playoffs to Las Vegas. I'm telling you. See, the last time we seen Sam Darnold, he looked like he had just got ran over by a Mack truck. He had just got done so bad. He just got, turned upside down. And him going to Seattle, not gonna change things. Only thing that's gonna change is, hey, they gonna be asking for his head and the second string quarterback to get in there. He's gonna stink up the stadium. Whereas Geno is gonna take people out of the casino and put them in the stands. They're gonna be the new black hole for the Raider fans. And you know who's going to lead them through that black hole to the playoffs and to the promised land? Geno Smith. He will be statistically better in every category than Sam Darnold. And Pete Carroll is going to have the last laugh. He couldn't have did what he done up in Seattle as he is going to do here in Las Vegas. I say Geno will lead them back to the promised land, and they'll win 2 in a row. because this time Pete Carroll is going to run the ball. He's not going to make that mistake and try to make Geno throw an interception. He's going to have him bootleg and run the ball. Ashton Genty is going to run. And, hey, Sam Darnold is going to be looking at it from his hole, that black hole that's going to eat him up there in Seattle. I just think that was just a demoralizing event. Defenses are ready for him. All you have to do is do a quick 3-card Molly like that on defense, and he's going to be lost. Put the 3-card Molly on him. Have him look at them, cards going left, right, right, left, center, right, left. And he's going to be so confused that, hey, if he ever step on this show, he's going to get roasted.
Okay. You say he's going to get roasted on this show. Well, I'm looking at Geno Smith and the fact that he is joining Pete Carroll as his former coach. And also, Chip Kelly is the offensive coordinator for the Raiders. And he likes to play the up-tempo, type of offense. It's going to be interesting because we all know that Pete Carroll likes to run the football, and they do have Ashton Genty, and he is a younger version of Marshawn Lynch. So this is going to Pete Carroll is trying to bring the Seattle Seahawks from when they win a championship. Geno will be Russell Wilson, and Ashton Genty will be Marshawn Lynch. That's a winning combination. I mean, that's a winning combination for Las Vegas Raiders, who really haven't been able to celebrate nothing. And their offense is run by Chip Kelly, so I mean they have the coaching in place. And Geno Smith is actually, to me, going to have a great cast of talented players. He got Amari Cooper, Brock Bowers, and Dante Thornton Jr. So, I mean, they're not some high-profile wide receiver. Amari Cooper, everybody knows Amari Cooper. But these are talented wide receivers. And I just think with their strong running game, and Geno doesn't have to do much. He just needs to be consistent and do not throw the ball away. I know he has had issues with interceptions. He doesn't have as many interceptions as Jameis Winston. He's not that type of quarterback, but he can get in a little trouble. Sometimes he just has to learn to throw the ball away. But he is an experienced quarterback, and I think the fact that he comes off a very, very good year, I see him really making strides with the Raiders. Now, Sam Darnold, on the other hand, he is going to a new situation. So it's going to be quite interesting how he does perform for the Seattle Seahawks. I don't think they have as talented wide receivers as Geno Smith will have. Remember, they traded their number one receiver to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, T.J. Metcalf. Metcalf. They DK Metcalf. So to me, that's a major problem. And Sam Darnold is going to have issues because we all know Sam Darnold, like Spitface said, he's a one-hit wonder because he's only really had one good season. So the question is, will he be able to have another great season? And that's putting a lot on Sam Darnold. And that's some of the issues I think is going to happen with Sam Darnold. He is going to have a lot of pressure to perform well. See, I don't see Geno having that pressure because Geno's been on different teams. and actually have done well from place to place for a part. He wasn't that great with the Jets, but he wasn't even given a chance with the Jets, to be honest with you. But the Jets don't give anybody a chance. It seems like quarterbacks go there and they just drop dead. But Gino has a chance with the Raiders, and his coach is aware of him. But Sam, he doesn't, to me, have that surrounding coaching that really needs that he had in Minnesota. Remember, in Minnesota, he had a great offensive head coach. So that was some of the reason why Sam Darnold was able to have a great season in Minnesota. So you're going to a new situation, and as a quarterback, you got to get used to a new system. Their system is definitely not going to be the same as the Minnesota Vikings. And see, that's another issue for Sam Darnold. Whereas Gino, he's familiar with the system that Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly is going to run. Sam is not familiar with his coach's system. Now, they believe in him because they definitely chose him. They got rid of Gino, but I was going to prove that it's going to be the wrong thing to do, because I just think Seattle's offense is not going to be the same. Their offense is not going to be. He's going to be very insufficient in that offense, and Sam is going to falter. He's going to falter. It's not going to be easy for him, and unfortunately, you hate to see that since he had such a great year before. But as you say, you call him Millie Vanilli. That one-hit wonder that really wasn't even singing. So we're going to see. Sam really wasn't being a good quarterback this season. We'll see that. All right, Spitface, over to you. Please take us to break.
All right. On the other side of the break, we have a performance from JES on Shout Out Part 2. Please keep your ears glued to those speakers.
Free message.
Welcome back. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout-out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right. On the second part of shout-out, we are featuring music from JES out of West Hollywood and their hit album, What If? Let's hear the title track from her hit album, What If?
What if you meant it? What if you cared? What if you were the one to stay? I'm not scared. Would it be different if we weren't afraid? If we let ourselves feel what we've made? Oh, what if you meant it? All those times when you said nothing and I read your mind. What if we could break all the lines we've drawn? What if we could be everything we're not? What if you meant it? All those times when you said nothing and I read your mind. What if we could break all the lines we've drawn? What if we could be everything all the lines we've drawn. What if we could be everything we're not?
All right. What if? First Lady, I'm listening to What If, and obviously it's mood music, and we used to have that category called mood music, and it reminds me of a potential soundtrack for like a movie or television, more so than for entertainment listening, and depending on the mood that you're in. Now, I'm going to hit the mute button and not because it was bad. It just seems like it could have been so much better. So, First Lady, what's the verdict? Is What If getting a shout out or the mute button?
I'm actually going to shout it out. I just, you're right. I like the song. I like the way her voice really meshed with the music. It was like it was like a what do you call that, mood music? But I like the song. I like her voice with the music. It was I'm shouting out. I mean, I'm going to shout out because I just happened to, I was listening. It was great. I liked the song. I thought her voice was good too. So I'm shouting it out.
Oh, okay. She hit your mood. All right, well, Jess, you got a split vote. Okay, now that is in the shout out. You can check out Hip Culture as well as Jess on the Old Grumpy Radio Network. If you would like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to talent@oldgrumpyradio.com. First Lady, over to you.
All right. All right. So, what is the top stories of the week? All right, Faith, your top story to watch this week.
My top story is Bill Belichick and North Carolina as they open the season. This is Big Bill's first game as a head coach of a college team, and I know I'm interested to see how it goes. North Carolina. I'm sure that there are some over expectations, but I'm pretty sure that Bill will have the team going in the right direction by the end of the season. So I'm not going to overhype him like he should come in and they'd be undefeated or something like that. But I do think that they're going to have a good record and be much better improved team. So I'm looking to see what happens, Bill. What you going to do?
All right. We'll see what Bill's going to do. All right. My top story to watch is Arch Manning opened a game against Ohio State. Yes, very interesting, against Ohio State. He has been chosen to be the number one pick in the 2026 draft. The pundits already said Arch Manning is going to be the top pick in the draft. So this is a big season for Arch Manning, and it starts against Ohio State. So I would love to see how he's going to perform against Ohio State, which is also they're in the top, picking to be in the top 3 or something like that in the pre-college polling. So we shall see it. I'm looking forward to Arch Manning. All right, check out our current and previous episodes at Panties&Sports.com. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk, Spitface, and we were blessed with DizzieMac. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. See you next week.